And a mystery that has gripped the country since the initial dramatic trial. 13-year-old girl Tair Rada was found brutally murdered in 2006 in a locked stall in a school bathroom. The courts convicted the janitor, Roman Zadorov, but there have always been doubts. Questions about evidence covered up, avenues not explored. Now Zadorov's lawyers say they have new evidence. A hair found on Rada's clothes that doesn't match the murdered girl or the man serving a life sentence for murdering her. Now, Ari Pines is the director of Shadow of Truth, a hit Netflix documentary on the mystery, and he's here in the studio. Ari, thank you for joining us. Really a disturbing story, and the question on everyone's lips in Israel now as the lawyers present this evidence: is it possible that a man is serving a life sentence for a murder he did not commit?
I think it's more than possible. I think this is what is happening, and I think a lot of people had this feeling for a long time that there are serious doubts about his guilt, and I think this new DNA evidence is just the proof of this.
So what, as far as you understand, there are several other suspects. What's the strongest alternative explanation for who murdered this girl?
So in our series, Shadow of Truth, which is available on Netflix, as you said, we presented a new theory. We revealed a new theory that hasn't been revealed before, and it was about a guy named, his initials are AH. He went to the police in 2012, and 6 years after the murder, and told them that his ex-girlfriend, whose initials are AK, confessed to him that she, in fact, murdered Tair. Confessed to him on the very day of the murder.
Why would she confess this to him?
And that she even showed him a bag with clothes and knife full of blood. And the police didn't really take him seriously because they already have a man who was convicted, so they don't want to start to open this case from the beginning. But the evidence that was found now, interestingly, is his hair. His hair was found on the body of Tair. Now,
the boyfriend of the woman who allegedly confessed to killing her.
Now, in his testimony, he said that she took his clothes when she went to school that day to kill a girl. She didn't mind which girl. It was like a random murder. So, in fact, this new evidence corroborates his testimony.
So, when you say this was a random murder, what do we know about the suspect? What could have been her motive?
So we know the suspect had a few very violent incidents in the past. She suffers from a very rare mental sickness that can be described as a thirst for blood or a drive to murder people, basically. She thinks there is like this she-wolf who lives inside her and tells her to cut people up, to enter their bodies. So I guess this is the murder.
She's been diagnosed?
Diagnosed. She was in a mental institution. She talked about this.
What do you mean was? Where is she now?
Well, it happens to be that just now when they found this new evidence, she is out of the country. She's not in Israel. She's abroad, and my guess is she's never coming back. And I think the Israeli prosecution, which still doesn't admit that she is the murderer, they still say Zadorov, this janitor, is in fact the murderer.
So let's have a look at that. What evidence is there that Zadorov did it? Why would the prosecution be so insistent that this man did it?
Well, he confessed. And in Israel, this is enough to put you in jail for the rest of your life.
Even though, as you said, the evidence points towards this woman.
And even though in the Supreme Court, two judges in the Supreme Court said he was guilty, one judge wanted to vindicate him.
So briefly, what happens now that they presented this evidence? Could they indeed do a retrial as the defense attorneys are demanding?
I think we're headed towards a retrial, definitely. Maybe it might take a few months, but I think it's only a matter of time.
A shocking story, and one horrific injustice will have been compounded by another injustice if it turns out that an innocent man has been in jail all this time. Ari Pines, director of Shadow of Truth, thank you very much for joining us.